I gain the hero Kel'Thuzad for the rest of the campaign, and that I will use the ability Death and Decay as my main way of killing enemies. Since the orcs love melee units, they all just gather around Kel'Thuzad right in range of Death and Decay, which will eventually kill them. Arthas can keep Kel'Thuzad alive with Death Coil, and since where I do this doesn't really matter much against the units, I just do it next to their base, so I also destroy their base while that's happening. And then I send my heroes and Frostworm back home so they can help defend my main base, since the orcs were already attacking from the other side and already destroyed some buildings. But as long as I keep the Black Citadel alive, it should be fine. I move out to the next orc base and use the strategy of Kel'Thuzad goes in and kills them with Death and Decay. This time Arthas and the Frostworm come in, while my other units stay away until it's safe. Can't keep them alive that easily, since the enemies here are a little more intimidating. Mainly the Orc Raiders with the net ability, which these 3 units can survive just fine. Then, once it's safe, I bring in some other units, and they help destroy the base significantly faster. Meanwhile, the orcs are attacking my main base at home, but my acolytes can repair long enough so that we can return home and defend. Next, we attack another orc base. This one has a different type of hero and some goblin units, but I can just repeat the same strategy and destroy most of the base's defenders using Kel'Thuzad with Death and Decay, and then slowly eliminate the rest of the base. Meanwhile, orcs are attacking my main base so that my heroes come home and defend. After the base is destroyed, my army can come home and help defend. And now the orcs are sending long-range siege weaponry. I can't defend against this without my army. The next orc base is too tough and too big. I can't repeat the same strategy here. Not quite. Instead, Kel'Thuzad goes in, Death and Decays, but on top of the workers harvesting gold and the main building, while Arthas goes around chasing other workers. Once Kel'Thuzad's done channeling, they go together and chase the remaining workers. And then, once that's secure, they leave in. Next time, Kel'Thuzad can destroy some production structures. But this was pretty tough, and I know the last base will be much tougher, so before I confront it, I scour the map finding some items. And now that final red base sending dragons with their attack, so I gotta be really careful when defending against this. I leave Kel'Thuzad in the front, hope that all the enemies will just gather around Kel'Thuzad, send my gargoyles and Frostworm, destroying their long-range siege weapons, and then send the gargoyles attacking the dragon while the Frostworm helps handle whatever else is around, and when gargoyles are injured, they fly away. The main risk is that if a raider nets a gargoyle, that gargoyle is basically just dead, so I must let the raiders go on Kel'Thuzad before I do this, so the gargoyles can safely do their job. But after that, can finally move in and finish off the rest of the orange base, using the same strategy of Death and Decay. Go around the map finding more useful items, prioritizing mana regeneration for Arthas, because needing Death and Decay pretty often here. And then, for the final base, since it's so tough, I lure the enemy hero out and fight it away from the base as much as I reasonably can. And a significant number of units followed me, but not too many, so it's okay. With the hero gone, I can do kind of the same strategy as before. Kel'Thuzad uses Death and Decay, killing the main base and most of the workers, while Arthas goes around killing other workers and healing Kel'Thuzad with Death Coil. Then they kill any remaining workers together, and Arthas hides in a corner because these dragons are really scary and they can't actually fight them here. But they got enough healing, and Kel'Thuzad has enough hit points left, so they can escape together. With Death Coil on the final worker, red base can't rebuild. I dare send my units only to the outer section of the base, except Kel'Thuzad can go in and be very tanky while killing production structures with Death and Decay. Eventually, the rest of the base will be destroyed. It's very slow. The next mission, it's kind of the same thing, but just easier. These humans just love sending the workers into their death, and they're just weaker than the orcs. And theoretically, this mission could be hard since they have a zone of damage that kills units very slowly, but it does barely anything to my heroes, so I just send them in alone without any other units. And the same basic strategy of kill everything with Death and Decay while Arthas heals with Death Coil works. Once we move past the first section, we get a Fountain of Health here, and we'll be doing some battles by this Fountain of Health for safety, but mostly just whenever we're injured, we can return to it and save some time instead of waiting for health regen. This mission is just too easy with heroes only. It feels like this is the intended way of playing the mission, since regular units would just be killed in these zones, but the heroes are fine. And the structures are placed so tightly together that Kel'Thuzad can destroy large clumps with Death and Decay quite safely. And since it's effective and safe, I destroy the bases along the way instead of rushing to the objective. This box has the only items worth taking in this mission, at least for how I play. And since I'm curious about what happens in the next mission, I give Kel'Thuzad the tome, just testing, does he keep the extra intelligence in the next mission? He does, but it doesn't do anything. And then we move along, and Kel'Thuzad helps destroy this final base, which is weirdly weaker than the previous base. Although it's more spread out and bigger, so eventually destroy it. Which was important since this final boss fight is so long that they would send an attack if they still existed while I'm doing this boss fight. But from only fighting Antonidas and the flock of water elementals, I'll be fine. Fountain of Health heals us fast enough. As long as I'm careful and reposition my healers occasionally, we're safe. The final mission is a defense mission, and therefore, we must move out and attack the enemy's base immediately. The Crypt Fiends safely move near the enemy's tower, dodge a blizzard, while Arthas kills the Archmage. The only unit in the enemy base that cares about defending it. And then, with the Archmage destroyed, we can safely destroy the peasants, the Altar of Kings, and the castle. With the Altar of Kings destroyed, the Archmage won't come back, and the castle can't make peasants for rebuilding if I destroy it. Meanwhile, at home, the enemies are attacking, but the Acolytes can repair my spirit towers for now. First attack's pretty weak. Arthas assassinates this Archmage. that was just peacefully ignoring me for some good items. Meanwhile, the enemies are attacking on the other side, but my Crypt Fiends help defend there. Take this Ring of Protection, bring it back to Kel'Thuzad, and now Kel'Thuzad has 5 gems of health and a Ring of Protection plus 5. Very tanky. The most difficult enemy attacks are the ones that include an Archmage. But the first time, they don't have that many other units. If I mana burn the Archmage, they won't cast the channel damage spell too many times, and I can just run out of the way. The next time that Archmages come, it's pretty difficult since now they have sorceresses, so I can't just run out of the spell that fast. But with the trees as cover, I'm safe. And on the other side, I don't have any trees that I can hide my units behind. So the enemies will attack someone other than Arthas, which causes some trouble here. And I can't just run away that easily. And they have too many units, so by bringing all my ghouls off lumber, having my entire army here, and the Fountain of Power, I still lose significant number of units, but I have enough left. The next time the Archmages come, I can't fight them in a direct fight. But I can use my base as bait. I let them start attacking my base, attack them from behind, only some of the units notice, and I can fight them without too much resistance here. It looks like it's working pretty well until the enemies start attacking from the other side. Gotta rush in and defend Kel'Thuzad. Can't survive without me. It looks like we're surrounded on all sides, but the Legion sent Infernals right when I needed them. And these Infernals are so strong that I evacuate the rest of my units so I can save them for the end of the mission. Arthas just runs back and forth between the fountain and whoever is the next target for Death Coil. With Arthas' healing and the Infernals completely overpowered, we're pretty safe until the end of the mission. The final attack is pretty strong. They send attacks from multiple sides simultaneously, but by bringing all those units evacuated earlier, my entire army helps defend. And also, since I still had some base left, it was an effective distraction for a significant portion of the enemies here. I don't know what happened to them. I'm guessing that they just ran home. Like, where are those enemies that were just destroying my base? They're not attacking Kel'Thuzad, so I win.